it's a pleasure. We haven't seen each other. I think it's 5 years ago we saw each other in Vrindavan, or is it a Maya?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway,
So
no, it's really great to see you.
Thank you for joining us. So to all the other devotees, Robert Prabhu is Hari Vilas Prabhu's father. He's also a brahmachari from Cape Town. And this is his dad, Robert Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Prabhu, allow me to introduce you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna and welcome everybody. Today we are honored to have a guest with us. His name is His Grace Rathim Krishna Das. Rathim Krishna Das is born in South Africa. He's a graduate from University of Natal. He completed his studies and joined Is-10 temple in Cape Town at the age of 21. In 2002, he moved to India to join the monastery in Mayapur. He moved to Vrindavan in 2005 and served there up to 2016. From 2016, he has been traveling full-time, sharing the wisdom of Vedic teachings. He's always had an interest in science and spirituality, and he's also serving as a co-president of ISKCON Midrand. And he also has a YouTube channel called Rathim Krishna Das, and he's a teacher at Vrindavan Institute for Higher Education. Prabhu, if I missed out anything, please just let us know if you're doing any other. So I know you're doing a lot of preaching activities.
There's a lot to aspire for.
Yes, but thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We're so excited to have you on, and we hope you can join more of our regular programs. Today's class will be a 1-hour class. We'll have 45 minutes of discourse and 15 minutes for questions at the end. And please do engage with us. And if you have any questions, any comments, please share with us. So today's topic is called, Don't Tell God How Big Your Problems Are. Tell your mind how big God is. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to your lotus feet. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. All glory to my spiritual master, His Holiness, Bhakti Chaitanya Swami. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, hand over to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Paramatma Prabhu.
Thank you.
Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances at his lotus feet. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacharya Satarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your association. And we'd like to also keep the time punctual. I want to keep the class much more punctual than usual. And we'll get into a trend doing that, at least 45 minutes class, and then 15 minutes question and answers. And then we'll end in an hour's time. So we have a very beautiful and interesting topic today. Don't tell your mind, don't tell God how big problems you have. Tell your mind how big God is. So we've been on a roll in the auspiciousness of the times. We had the Pitru Paksha, and now we're in the Navratri period where many people are doing many ceremonies and honoring these special times. And within a short while, it will be Kartik, this month, which is glorified in Vrindavan so greatly. So before we start trying to make sense of life We have to realize that life is bigger than just being human. In our current paradigm, we only see life just from the human perspective. And only seeing ourselves as human has a limitation, especially for one who's practicing spiritual life, because he doesn't see himself bigger than what he is. He's always confined to the idea that I am only human. Therefore, experiences also limit him to that ideology of just being human. If his understanding is only human, then his experiences are only going to be understood in a human way. And this is very limiting. Therefore, in scripture, it says, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Once you come to this human form of life, now you should inquire. Jignasa means to inquire about the human form. Ask the questions which will give you answers to deeper understanding of the human being. And we know that there's a very profound, deeper nature to the human being that can only be explored through the process of yoga, as taught in Bhagavad Gita, and through that yoga ladder culminating in devotion, bhakti. So when we look at life, we see it has a bit of both. Even here in India, I've been here for the last 2 years now, due to the lockdown. So even the Bollywood people know about the both sides of life. Kabhi khush, kabhi gum. Yes, little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and it goes either way. And what we've been experiencing recently was, with the COVID and even with the civil unrest, especially with COVID, it's been more like Russian roulette, where you have no idea what's going to happen next. Are you the next to die, or are you the next to cry? So we really don't know. Is it even flights were completely stopped? We don't even know if we can fly much anymore. I heard that in South Africa, they're lifting the lockdown gradually from level 2, which is good news. So it gives an opportunity, maybe possible, to come by the end of this year to visit the Holy Land, visit Vrindavan. So when we try to make sense of life, Prabhupada makes a very specific point. He says here, our remembrance of Krishna is incidental, not premeditated. So unless we're in a difficult situation, we usually will think of God incidentally, just by incident. Okay, we are pious enough to remember God. We're not atheists. So there's a certain degree of appreciation there for your spirituality, but it's incidental. It's something we do and cultivate depending on the difficulties that we're going through. It's not like a serious spiritualist where remembering God is premeditated. So it's a distinct understanding that unless you develop a higher level of consciousness, you're not going to tap into the reality and the experience of having a relationship, a deep one with God. Therefore, it's important to know where on the yoga ladder we are connecting. And this is very important to where we are. In the Bhagavad Gita, it describes this yoga ladder, which starts from karma kanda, or ritualistic worship. And most of the traditions today, the religious traditions, emphasize on that because it gives a sense of happiness. The result of doing pious work is that you'll find some sense of happiness. But my question to you is, will you find fulfillment? Do you find fulfillment in life? Do you find satisfaction in life? The problem with happiness and the way we see it as human beings is that a lot of things have to be synchronized in order for happiness to occur. The place has to be right. The people have to be right. The things have to be right. The right things have to be said. All of these things are external. And unless all these factors are synchronized, happiness won't occur. If one of these factors are not there, happiness doesn't take place. You look at it, you observe it, you may even appreciate it, but you won't find happiness. Why is that? Because by nature, yehi samsparshana bhoga, dukkha yonaya evate, adyanta vanta konteya nasa tu ramata buddheha. Bhagavad Gita 5.22, Krishna is saying, yehi samsparshana bhoga. As soon as the senses touch the sense object, dukkha yonaya evate, suffering is born. As soon as the senses touch the sense object. But one may say, well, it's not all suffering. You're only looking at one side of the coin. The opposite and equal other side of the coin also has this built-in nature of suffering. And we see that just like if we're understanding happiness, it has to be synchronized with so many external factors in order for you to be happy. Now, if we take the same understanding inward and we try to understand and work with ourselves inward, then the joy that can be experienced inward is not called happiness. In Sanskrit, it's called ananda, blissfulness. And that gives you a sense of fulfillment, of satisfaction. You cannot find that in the outer world. It can only be harnessed and connected with from the inner world. So unless we understand the yoga ladder, starting from ritualistic, that's a good starting point, but it's certainly not the ending point. Bhagavad Gita raises the consciousness higher from karma kanda to karma yoga, where one is doing work, but it's connected to the Supreme. Karma yoga, work done in connection to God. So that is a higher level, but is it the highest? No, because we see we are still the center of it. We are doing it. Yes, we're doing it spiritually. Yes, we're doing it with a spiritual intention to connect to God. So it purifies the work, but I'm still the motive. It's because I want it. It's because I'm the center. Therefore, I'm doing it in the proper way. So it's not wrong, but it's not the highest level that the human being can experience. So in karma yoga, I am the center. In jnana yoga, the higher level with knowledge, then that person realizes the futility of material enjoyment and rejects a lot of the world. He rejects a lot of the environment. But by rejecting, he doesn't see that. Why is he rejecting? Because he doesn't know how to connect it to God. He doesn't know how to connect it inwardly. So if material things, if I can't find happiness with all these material things, better reject it. By no contact with it, I'll find some peace. So he's settling for peace rather than for bliss. And the last level, bhakti yoga, shows you that by connecting to God in love, then the devotional sentiments that come from the soul are awakened. And that connection in yoga, Krishna really glorifies right through the Bhagavad Gita, showing that when one comes to that level of consciousness, one is fully evolved as a devotee of God. One is fully processed on this higher spiritual level that a human being can experience. Remember, there are many, 8.4 million species of life. So just to think and to connect that only the human form can experience God is very limiting. But that's our paradigm. That's the only way we see the world. Therefore, we start with ritualistic worship. In America, they have this kind of racing called greyhound racing. And this dogs that run at super fast speed. But what is the impetus to run? They are chasing a toy which is slightly ahead of them that they can't catch. But once the dog realizes that this is just a toy, it's futile. No matter how great the breed of dog, of greyhound dog, whatever pedigree that is, it becomes useless. Because the dog has finally figured out This is just a toy. It won't give the same impetus to run. So similarly, when you come to karma kanda and realize this is futile, this is temporary, it's not satisfying me. It's designed to give me a temporary result. And if I'm living my spiritual life only with temporary results, how do I expect to find permanent happiness? Yet my heart is crying for that. My mind is crying for solutions, for permanence. And how do you find permanence when everything outside is temporary? It's not possible. Therefore, Prabhupada describes in so many different ways that think about life very carefully. You have that deep ability. This is one of the reasons why we engage in charity. Because we understand that we are not the only doers. If you are the only doer, then your hand works today. Tomorrow your hand doesn't work. If you were really controlling your hand, then why is it you can't make your hand work tomorrow? Because there's some other aspects also controlling the movement of your hand. It's not, you are not the sole controller of your hand. There are other aspects of universal control that is also controlling your hand. So if your hand is not fully in your control and you doing work, then how can you claim all the results or the fruits of your work for yourself? Does that make sense? How can you claim all the work that I've done the work, therefore I deserve all the fruit? This is why the Vedic culture created the concept of charity, because charity is saying, I did some of the work, but also some of the work was done by higher forces that I'm not completely familiar with. And therefore, to respect that, I offer some charity. That all this is not mine. Major part of it is mine, but a lot of it is also connected to higher forces. Therefore, to respect that, I offer charity. So it's an interesting concept. So Prabhupada also mentions that Krishna is so subtle that he seems intangible. Wow, when I first read this, it like struck me like a bomb. Krishna is so subtle. The nature of Krishna and the interaction with Krishna as the Supreme Lord is so subtle that if you're not tuned, if you're not sensitive to that, he'll seem intangible to you. Like he's not relating. He's not there. He's not physically there. We always want to see God, right? Everybody will say, first show me God. I want to see. One scientist once asked Prabhupada, I want to see God, Swamiji. Really, if God exists, put him here in my hand. And then Prabhupada answered with a snapback. He said, if you want to see God, you are a professor, right? Scientist? Yes. He says, I'm sure you have intelligence. He says, yes. Well, I'm a faculty dean. So he says, well, if you have intelligence, put it here in my hand. I want to see it. And this scientist got like totally short-circuited. He couldn't relate to logic like that. So Prabhupada said, if you want to see everything only by sight, then put intelligence here in my hand. So he said, no, but you see intelligence by symptoms of intelligence. He says, similarly, creation, you're seeing the creator by symptoms of creation. The whole of creation, surely all of this great order that is going on, the great levels of creation and birth and growth and dwindling and death, all of that is being coordinated by who? So if we don't have knowledge, then we seem to think that Krishna is intangible. This was so profound when I read that. And when we relate to creation, we're trying to understand God or the creator by relating to creation. But Srimad Bhagavatam tells us that this creation is not even created by Krishna. This is created by Brahma. This is Brahma's creation. So he's even a secondary creator. And we can't even come to terms with the secondary creator. We want to try to understand the supreme creator, Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Param Ishwar, not just the Ishwar. The Ishwar of this creation is Brahma, but Krishna is Parameshwar, the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. That is the level of person we're dealing with and we're trying to connect with. Now, can you imagine if that person comes amongst our midst? How would you even relate to somebody so great? So it's like being in hospital, and we are in remedial care here in the material world. It's a kind of correctional services. We won't take that example. Better we use it remedial. So this remedial place that we're in is because our consciousness is identifying with matter. And in this understanding, it's like a hospital. And in that hospital, what are the food that you eat there? Hospital food, everybody knows, boiled sabji, boiled vegetables, boiled potato, boiled rice. And what are the clothes that you wear there? Hospital pajamas. It's not the most fashionable clothing. Now, if somebody who is like the topmost surgeon in this field that you are in comes to the hospital and comes and visits you, now your appreciation is so great that you want to offer him something. What can you offer him being a patient? If you offer him your boiled sabji, do you think he's impressed? If you offer him your hospital pajamas, do you think that's something that's offerable to such a person? But yet we're giving Krishna food from jada, dead matter. We're giving Krishna clothes that we construct from matter. We're dressing Krishna with hospital pajamas. We're feeding Krishna boiled sabji. This is what, when Krishna is used to Chintamani, Prakarasadma Sukalpa Vriksha, Laksha Prite Susurabira Vipalayantam, Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrama Sevyamanam, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajame. He is used to Chintamani, the quality that Krishna, that you can relate with Krishna, spiritual quality, that nature is called Chintamani. But what does he accept from us? He's accepting boiled sabji and hospital pajamas. This is what he's accepting. Can you understand that when such a person comes to our level, what is greatness? So my point being in all of this is try to understand what is greatness of God, because that is what you need to convince your mind. This is why Krishna has taken 2 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, chapter 11. Chapter 10, he's spoken about his glories, and chapter 11, he's showed his glories. Vishwarup and Virat Rup. So Virat Rup means the power of God, and Vishwarup means the majesty of God. So for us to understand such a great person, if he doesn't come down to our level, how will that be possible? Therefore, Krishna's greatness is not in creation. It's not in what is created in this world. He didn't even create. It's Brahma who created. So what is Krishna's greatness then? His greatness is that he's the supreme controller, and he's come down to our level, to eat our level of food, to dress like our level of attire. This is greatness. When somebody from that stature can come down to the human level and interact with us like a human being. He's not a human being, but he interacts like a human being. What will cause that? That only by love will such a great person come down to this level. So in order to convince your mind, first understand who you're dealing with. It's very important that devotees understand who they're dealing with when they're dealing with Krishna. Because it's so easily in the human form of life to relate and attribute human nature to God. No, he has God nature. His nature is Chintamani, Satchitananda Vigraha. That is his nature. But if he's coming down to this dead matter to interact with us, he is only doing it out of love. Therefore, Krishna says in 10th chapter, Yad yad vibhuti mat sarvam Shriman ujitam eva va. Tad tad yad yad eva bhagat tattvam namateja sansa sambhava. That Arjuna, all this creation that you see, all of this, mama tejas amsa sambhava, is just a small spark of my splendor. Bhagavad Gita 10:41. Therefore, only the realized souls, the great devotees, the Mahajans, they are aware of Krishna's real greatness. And us as sadhanas, sadhikas, those who are practicing sadhana bhakti, we're not really aware of Krishna's greatness. Therefore, it creates disturbance to us when difficulties come our way. When problems come our way, we're not too sure. We kind of sure, have some faith, but we like just not too sure whether Krishna can actually help. We trust that he's all powerful. We trust that he's omniscient. We trust that he's omnipotent, but we don't trust that he's omniscient. We trust that God is all powerful, but we don't trust that he's all knowing. We kind of like want to trust, but he's not showing us enough signs that he's there. That's why Prabhupada is saying Krishna seems intangible. But for the great devotees of the Lord, because they actually realized the greatness of God, the symptom of that realization is humility. Dhainya Bhautika. Dhainya Bhautika. It's humility. That's why the great souls are so humble, because they understand, they've got first-hand direct experience and relation with the greatness of God. And they are thinking that you are so great, and you coming and eating my boiled sabji and dressing in my hospital pajamas. In this way, they have the reality of that is so shocking that they completely humble. They're living in that state of humility. It's not a pretense. It's not saying, oh, Prabhu, please accept my obeisances. That's a formality. It's a good formality, but we have not realized yet that we are addressing another Vaishnava with a genuine humility. Therefore, Krishna is teaching in Shikshastikam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Trinadapi Sunichena, Taroreva Suhishnana, Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadahari. If we don't come to terms with this concept of the greatness of God and think we can only relate to the sweetness of God, then we won't be able to Kirtanya Sadahari, to be chanting all the time. Because in order to chant all the time, you're aware of God's greatness. You're also giving respect to others. You are feeling more humble than a blade of grass because this person is coming down to your level. Can you imagine that? In a relationship, this person is coming down to me. He's the greatest amongst all of the great. He's the most in every aspect. And he's coming to me. Wow. I remember this story of Krishna Maharaj tells it in his memories, that Prabhupada was sitting with him and says, you see this universe, within this universe, there's one earth planet. This particular one has 9 planets, this universe, and within it, there's the earth planet. And on this earth planet, 7 continents, one of it is America. And in America, there's one special city called Los Angeles. And within Los Angeles, there's this building that we're sitting in right now. And in this building, there's one room where you and I are sitting. And in this room where you and I are sitting, you think you're such a big control. And Maharaj tells the story with all humility, Krishna Maharaj. So he says, I felt so insignificant at that moment. And I had a glimpse of reality. What is reality? I'm actually totally insignificant. And when one realizes how great Krishna is, the symptom of that, you'll start to feel insignificant. You'll start to feel Dhainya Bhautika. You won't know where to go and hide yourself. That's how you'll feel. I'm so humbled that this person wants to have a Surita Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Michiti. that this person wants to have a relationship with me, a loving relationship. And the first symptom of that is peace. Gyatva mam shantir michati. One becomes shanti, peaceful. Why is he peaceful? Because he's realized the nature of God's greatness. So we got to start somewhere. When life is giving us problems, we can't be overwhelmed on the mental level. We got to take shelter on a deeper level. And when we do that through yoga, then we can have an experience. When Krishna is saying, Ma suchaha, do not fear. I'm here. I'm protecting you. Sarva dharman parityaja, mam ekam saranam raja. Aham tvam sarva pape, vyu mokshayasyami ma suchaha. Do not fear. Simply take shelter of me. So first we do it theoretically. And by doing it theoretically, we start to understand the grace that flows from Krishna. And how do we see Krishna's grace on a daily practical way in life? One of the beautiful stories that comes in the Mahabharata is the story when Arjuna, on the Kurukshetra battlefield, Arjuna was fighting and Krishna was driving the chariot and swaying and avoiding the arrows this way and that way. And Arjuna was getting a bit disturbed because he couldn't get his target. And on one particular moment, Krishna saw that Krsna was ready with the arrow. And he had aimed the arrow directly at Arjuna's head. At that moment, Krishna was driving the chariot and he realized he's going to have to do something. So what did he do? He immediately kicked his foot down on the chariot floor, and that sunk the chariot by 1 foot. And when the shot was taken by Krsna, it hit the mukut mani, the jewel helmet, golden jewel helmet that Arjuna was wearing. It hit the helmet of Arjuna's head. And Arjuna looked at this and he was upset and he said, Krishna, kya kar rahe hai tum? What are you doing? Huh? How are you driving this chariot? You don't have license? So immediately he chastised Krishna. What do you think you're doing? Krishna turned around and said, hey, Arjun, you're talking about your helmet falling. Your whole head should have fell down if I didn't do what I did. He said, what are you talking about? He said, Krsna had your head and he aimed the arrow and he was ready to take your head out. If I didn't do what I did, you wouldn't have just lost your monies there, your helmet, your jeweled helmet. You would have lost your head. And then he said, oh, Krishna, I'm very sorry. I was not aware. He says, yeah, you're not aware of many things. So at that moment, Arjuna had a glimpse. He had a quick glimpse of what it is that when Krishna does something, you must know, devotees, for the Kurukshetra War to take place, Krishna says, yada yada hi dharmasya, right? Glanir bhavati bharata. I come again and again, and I reinstate dharma. So for that Kurukshetra War to take place, it took 125 years of planning. Krishna was 125 years on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. From his birth, this was already part of his dharma, to establish dharma and to get rid of the tyranny. Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the sadhus. So in order to do that, Krishna had to plan for this war so that everything can come together for 125 years. Just think about that for a minute. That in order for an 18-day war to take place, Krishna took 125 years of planning, over a century, just for an 18-day war. This is Krishna's plans. So when we're looking at it, it's not making sense to us because it's not our plans and we're not connected with his greatness. But if we trust him, like Arjuna did, Yata chese tata kuro. I trust you, Krishna. I'm doing it because of you. I'm not doing it because I'm a Kshatriya. I'm not fighting because I'm a soldier. I'm doing it because of you. I'm doing it for your pleasure. And this is Krishna's plan. So when we look at life and things are collapsing around us, just take a moment that when we're losing something, first it was given. You can't lose something if it wasn't given at first, right? First, something was given to you. So Krishna always gives first before he takes. And the second realization is that when good is happening to us, it's the blessings or the grace of Krishna. And when bad is happening to us, it's also the grace of Krishna to help us with the existential part of our lives, to help us with the part of life to prepare for the next lifetime. Because by our nature, we won't become serious if difficulties are not there. How many of us joined because of some difficulty in our lives? Krishna explains 4 types of people who join. Chaturvida bhajanti mam, janasukito arjuna, arta jignasu artati, jnanina bharata seva. That one who's inquisitive, one who's distressed, one who's has disease, and one who's in search of wealth. In broad, this is what Krishna encapsulates. So none of us, you can see all of those are needs. Each one has a need. And unless they're put into a traumatic state, they're not going to inquire deeper into what is the deeper meaning of life. So COVID has done such an amazing thing because it has shaken our reality that the material world is a permanent place. It has completely shaken all levels of reality, from finance to health to relationships to your own existence. You don't know. Today you hear, today it's like I was saying, Russian roulette. Today it's somebody else's turn. Tomorrow it could be me. But for the great devotees, they're connected with the greatness of God. Therefore, it's not a surprise to them. So one of the ways we can deal with the problems that come our way is to see Krishna's grace. And what is that grace? That when good things are happening, it's Krishna's grace. Thank you, Lord. And when bad things are happening, or difficult things are happening, or problems are happening, it's also his grace to prepare us for the next life. Otherwise, how will we prepare for that? We'll get so absorbed in the human life. We get so absorbed in human experience, we forget we are spirit soul. Atato Brahma Jignasa, we forget to ask, Brahmano hi pratishtaham, this Brahman nature, the spiritual nature of who we are. We forget to explore that. Why? Because there's no reason to. Life is completely all external. But when one inquires into yoga, when one inquires into spiritual development, then he explores both the external world and the inner world. Outside world and the inner world. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satam, uvayorapi drustantas, tanayastapadarshivi. That one studies that which is permanent and he studies that which is temporary. And then he consolidates that in service to Krishna. And how great is Krishna that he's accepting matter from us, from our hands, material, jada, dead matter. We know within a moment when somebody dies, whether you realize, self-realized or not, you will say, there's the body is lying there. Why do we intuitively use this kind of language? Because we know within ourselves, this is the state. That body will not grow anymore. It will completely now decompose in stages. So if that was the state of what we're dealing, and that's what we're offering Krishna, something that's decomposing. It may be vegetable body, it may be any kind of body, within what he allows. Patram pushpam phalam toyam, fruit, flower, leaf, or water. Everything in matter is in a state of decay. So whatever we're offering Krishna, is it Chintamani, what he's used to in the spiritual world? No. But why is he accepting? This is why Krishna is great. This is why God is great, because he can come down to our level and help us from where we are. This is true greatness. And when you realized on that platform that I'm connected to such a person, then problems become little problems, small letter P. It's not big problems that the mind has made it out to be. You start to see things for what they are, not for more than what they are. And you start to realize that without these problems, how will I ever think about the deeper existential questions of life? And how will I go back to the spiritual world? So it has its value. Now that you can see it, you're seeing the bigger picture of Krishna. That's why the Mahabhagavat, the great devotee, they're always connected to, they never try to skip it. Because by skipping it, if you skip the problems and the challenges of life, one of the first areas you'll start to feel it is in your sadhana. You'll immediately start to see that it's very difficult to chant. 5 minutes, the mind is already restless. Very difficult to read. 1 page is already too much. This is signs that the mind is weak. So how to strengthen the mind? This mind can only be strengthened with resistance. And problems is the strongest form of resistance that we know. Therefore, if you skip problems, you tend to find that later on in your development, you tend to have the problem of weak sadhana. Your spiritual life starts to get weak. Chanchalahi manasa Krishna pramate balavadridam tasyaham nigraham mane vayu eva chaduskaram. 6th chapter. Krishna is telling Arjuna, this mind, Arjun, Chanchalahi manasa Krishna. This is restless, chanchal. And pramada, balavad, ridam. It's pramada, it's not ordinary mad, it's crazy mad. Pramada, balavad, it's very strong. And ridam, it's obstinate. This is what we're dealing with. So if something like that is uncontrolled, how are we going to apply it in sadhana, in daily spiritual activity, if we avoid the challenges that Krishna is giving us? So we hear from the scripture, Prabhupada mentions that what we get as reactions is token reactions. It's just a token, something small. The third level that we can realize problems at is that to understand that whatever has come our way is a manifest level of problems. What about those mountains and tons of problems that I never even saw, that Krishna just dissolved just like that? It didn't even come to me. We can understand just by the projection of life in the trajectory that it goes, that a lot of life is also problematic, which means I'm getting results from previous lifetimes. Otherwise, you can't explain why one child is born disabled and the other child is born with a spoon in the mouth, because both are innocent. So why is this one disabled? Is because some previous life activities come forward now. So you can immediately understand that as my life is a balance of good and bad that comes my way, most of the time it seems to be bad, but that's what the mind is perceiving. But if I see it rationally and with dedication and understanding of Krishna, that if so much is coming to me now and it seems insurmountable, what was actually headed for me? It was supposed to be a whole tsunami headed for me, but it never even came close. Just these few, 5, 10 things are troubling me. How many things troubling you right now? 5, 10 things? I'm not undermining your pain, but I'm trying to share with you that if you look at the other aspects of life as well, a lot of good has also been given. And whatever has been taken has been the desire of Krishna. Why? Because every great teacher on this planet, every prophet, every great Messiah, all of them have come to tell us that this is not home. How will we realize this is not home? Unless we go through the difficulties of life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna is known for his mercy, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known to be merciful. So what is the difference between mercy and merciful? Mercy is not understood. It's causeless mercy. But when you use the word merciful, it gives a level of understanding. It gives a level of appreciation. When you say, wow, you are merciful, it means I understand something about what you've done for me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes the greatness of Krishna understandable. Therefore, when we're having the problems of life, therefore, when we're going through the difficulties of life, we're understanding the grace of Krishna. And in understanding the grace of Krishna, even in practical life, Prabhupada was on a morning walk once, and he asked the devotee, so how is it possible to block the sun with a coin? And the devotee, you know, these kind of questions, not normal guru questions, we call them, because whether you answer right or wrong, both times you're wrong. This is those trick questions, because you can never know what the right answer is. This is guru, because guru is meant to dispel your illusion. So Prabhupada asked, how is it possible to use a coin to block the sun? And they said, Prabhupada, not possible. Prabhupada said, it is possible. How is it possible? Well, if you take the coin and put it right against your eye, you don't see the sun anymore. So this is what we're doing with the problems of life. We're putting it right against our face. It's in our face every moment, every part of life. It disturbs every other aspect of life. And because it's so in our face, we're able to block the greatness of Krishna descending upon us. So Prabhupada gave that example, that this is the power of being illusioned and completely infatuated only with the human experience of life. So he was discussing also at one time that what is the most important aspect of a car, a vehicle, a car? And the devotees were like, oh, it must be the engine. And Prabhupada says, no, it's not the engine, because if the car is downhill, it can roll. So you don't need an engine. Guru's logic again. So what's the most important part of the car? It's the tires. And why the tires? Because without the air in the tires, the car will never move anywhere. So that air, can you create that? This is the grace of God. So when you start your car, remember, it's the grace of God that's allowing you to move. There's no air created by God. There's no way your car is going to have any movement. Secondly, what is the most important thing in your house? Is it the decorations? Is it your TV or your fancy lounge suite? No. The most important aspect of your house is gravity. Because if it didn't have gravity, the four walls and the roof, they are working in a delicate balance of forces. Who is creating that forces? This is Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna. So the most important thing in your house is gravity. Can you create gravity? No, it's given by God. This is the grace of God. What is the most important thing in your body? It's your breath. Without breathing, within a few moments, heart stops, the brain is gone. Can you continue your breath? Maybe you can hold your breath, but can you give yourself another breath? You are given a certain amount of breath to take in one lifetime. And when that expires, that's it. Life is over. It's called Brahma Litti. It's written. This is how many breaths you take. Can you give yourself one more breath? Look at how many people, wealthy people, COVID got them, nothing they can do with their wealth. They're gone. Nothing, no medication, no nothing can help. Young people, old people. So this is the grace of God, that the breath that I take in, that is the grace of God. So when you start to see the grace of Krishna in smaller things in life.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Pranam.
Yes.
Sorry, you asked me to remind you about time.
Yeah. Thank you for the 45 minutes. Great.
I gave you 5 minutes extra since we started a bit late.
Okay, you kind. This is your grace.
I was actually enjoying your talk. I didn't want to stop you. If you want, you can round off if you want.
Yes, I'll do that. I'm just saying this is your grace upon me.
Sorry to cut you off. Okay.
So when we have difficulties in life, then how do we address it? And what should we say? What should we do? So we'll end on this point that when Prabhupada was sick, so the devotee said, Prabhupada, how should we pray? Because without you, how do we carry on? So Prabhupada said, you should pray to Lord Nrsingadev that, my dear Lord, if you so desire, please help me with this problem. Leave it there. Leave it at his feet. Don't leave it there and take it back. Because then you trust his omnipotence, but you don't trust his omniscience. You trust he's powerful, but you don't trust that he has enough knowledge, is all-knowing to solve your problem. So leave it there at his feet. So Prabhupada has taught this lesson, that when you have a problem, leave it at the feet of Krishna and say, my Lord, if you so desire, please help me with this. And this is the way we can try and make problems small. And this is the way we can address the mind, that don't tell the mind, don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your mind how big God is. So I hope you've got some points from what we discussed. Time is always short, but I want to leave some room for questions, and I want to finish on time to respect your time for this 1 hour. So are there any questions from anyone?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much. We have a question from Prahlad, Prabhu.
Okay.
Prahlad, you can please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Pranam.
Prahlad Prabhu.
Haribo. Yes, I just wanted to ask, how can we as devotees develop a sense of humility, such as Arjuna did? You know, he wasn't a great philosopher or anything, but he obviously was a great king. But he had such faith in Sri Krishna's words. So how can we as devotees try to follow in his footsteps?
Beautiful question. Thank you, Prahlad Prabhu. So I was mentioning that humility and understanding the greatness of God are inversely proportionate. That the more you understand how great God is, the more you'll become humble. The more you'll feel so insignificant. So how do we, therefore, just like you mentioned, Arjuna first heard 10th chapter, then he heard the 11th chapter, and he saw Krishna's Virat Roop, the universal form, and then he understood. Param Brahman, Param Dhamam, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. After the Chatur Sloki, 10.12, this verse comes where he's saying, you are the Para Brahman, Param Dhamam, you are everything is residing in you. Pavitram, you are the supreme pure. Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shashvatam, you are a person. Purusham Shashvatam Divyan, you're not an ordinary person, you are a divine person. And Adi Devam, you are the original God. You are the God from which all other gods are coming. Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum, and yet you are unborn. So many realizations Arjuna got. Why? All of this is connected to understanding that first you have to understand the Aishwarya, the majesty and the power of God, to know who is giving you shelter. If you know who is giving you shelter, automatically you content, you peaceful, you humble. The thing is, we theoretically know this, but practically when the problems come, we hide away, so we don't practically get to experience this. Therefore, Krishna is giving these problems in life, so to speak, that there are problems to us because we try to skip it, we try to avoid it, and we don't have practical experience of how great he is. And until you have practical experience of how great Krishna is, you'll never become humble. You'll never know what is true humility. You'll be speaking it, please accept my obeisances, please accept, you're trying to cultivate it, but you're cultivating it without knowledge of how great God is. And once you give yourself as surrender to Krishna, and you experience his love, his grace, his shelter, automatically that feature of his greatness comes. And automatically you'll be like Arjuna, where he's 2 chapters dedicated to this point in Bhagavad Gita, just to show that humility and feeling loved. Humility is a sign of feeling loved. You are not insecure about what's happening around you, no matter what people are saying, no matter what is happening to you. You are internally connected so deep, so profound, that externally it's insignificant. That is true humility. And what is that connection inside? You are completely secure in your loving relationship with this greatest person that's descended to give you association, to give you protection. Mahatmanastumam partha deivim prakriti ashrita. The Mahatmas, Arjuna, 9.13, diving prakriti ashrita, they take shelter of the divine energy. Until you do that, you'll not experience. We take shelter of the mind. I was saying that the last time. Faith means to trust in something sublime. Prabhupada gives that definition. Is the mind sublime? But we trust it more than we trust Krishna, because we are identifying so much with the human nature. Therefore, we think what the mind is guiding us as is the truth. It's the truth, but it's not the absolute truth. We are having, life is not, what goes on as life is not life. It's material life. This is material life. It's just one aspect of 8.4 million species. And we think we're so profound. So in addressing your question again, true humility is try to understand how great Krishna is. Just spend some time on that chapter 10, chapter 11, and pray. Give me a realization, Krishna, how great. What is this that you're trying to teach us as human beings? It's a very profound point, and thank you for your question on humility. Is there a second one? Another question?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you mentioned that to let you know if time is up. Time is up now, but can we continue with any more questions?
Let's just do one or two questions quickly.
Okay, there is a question on Navratri. You know, what do we do during Navratri as devotees? Or, you know, how do we follow?
Right.
Or just in general, give us some advice about Navratri.
Okay, good question, because it is the Navratri time right now. So Navaratri is worship of Durga. In Brahma Samhita, she's described Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chayena Yasya Bhuvanani Bibharti Durga Ichanurupam Api Yasya Chachastate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. It's described that Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya, creation, maintenance, and destruction, the empowerment of that service is being done by some person. Who is that person? Chayena Yasya Bhuvanani Bibharti Durga. This is being done by Durga, which is Chaya. She's a reflection of the Supreme Lord. She's getting her power. She's acting as a representative of the Supreme living entity. And Ichanu Rupam Apiyasya Chachestate. What does she do? Her connection, her Icha. Icha, you know a little bit Hindi. Icha means desire. You desiring something. Ichanu Rupam Apiyasya Chachestate. Her desire is one with the Lord. She's working in accordance with Krishna. And who is she's working in accordance with some primeval being. And who is that being? Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajame. She's working with Krishna's accordance. So in this time of Navaratri, we really want to respect everyone who's honoring this. Many people are fasting and doing different activities. But we also connect to her nature as Durga in Jagannath temple in Puri. We have this Puri, it's called Hira Panchami, Hira Panchami festival, where Durga interacts with Jagannath. After the Rath, it goes to Sundarachal, to Vrindavan. Then it stays there for 9 days. Prabhupada also did, as a child, he would do Rath Yatra for 9 days. He did. So this 9-day, Navaratram, 9-day. Jagannath also says 9 days at Sundarachal. He moves from Jagannath temple by the chariot, Rath Yatra, and goes to Vrindavan, Sundarachal. And then Durga feels hey, you gone so far, you didn't come back. So in that point, she has a whole interaction with Jagannath. She ties the pandas up with garlands, pull them by the ears. Be careful, Matajis, they fight like that, pull ears and everything, you know. So Durga is showing, don't. So she does all these things as a relationship. So we also respect that form of Durga. So, but during this time, Navratri, what is being observed now is Durga without her connection to the Lord. So we never want to approach a lady without her husband. That's not proper Vedic etiquette. So therefore, we respect what people are doing and we honor it, but we don't partake in it, because under the Vedic understanding, a lady should always be respected and conducted in relation to her husband. So these 9 days are only worshipping her separate from her husband. And that's not the mood that we want to develop. We want to worship her. We do that every day. In Jagannath temple, you get Jagannath Mahaprasad only after Bimala Devi gives. That's Durga. So we connect to her, but not just for 9 days, for 365 days. And we do it in connection to her Swami, to her Lord. So I'll stop there. Is there any other question?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. There is one more question about, it's a personal question to you.
Okay.
It's about, there's some publicity going around about, well, it shows that you're actually in demand. People want to hear more from you. So there's a big demand for you, and there's some publicity going around to say that, you are prevented from preaching in certain areas. Could you just touch a bit on that? Are you prevented from preaching, and are there any challenges in your preaching? And also, what is the future of your preaching in general?
Yeah. So I think it's important we address this. Prabhupada describes that devotional service must be performed with maturity. He explains this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That what is the maturity? That you have to understand yourself and understand what's going on. So just on that point, yes, I've seen that publicity on social media, and I actually was in contact with the head of the organization that was named, and I was so-called from the ISKCON side and the other organization. And when I contacted that devotee, that person actually is a devotee, he's an ISKCON devotee. He mentioned to me that, Prabhu, somebody is actually sabotaging here. That there's a third party that has come in that's trying to create some conflict between us, them, in what they do and their feeding, and ISKCON. So I'm mentioning this because just to let you see what happens with propaganda if it's not clarified. So don't take shelter of the media, take shelter of authorities. Go and ask an authority, I heard this, please explain this to me. If you take shelter of media, it will build assumptions, and assumptions will cause offense. So this devotee had written to me, I even have the WhatsApp message where he clearly says, Prabhu, I did not mention this. It's a third party of people who have some grievances, who have left, disgruntled people who have left the process of sadhana bhakti under ISKCON, and they have created some kind of politics like this. So I'm mentioning this to you for the lesson. And what is the lesson? Approach authorities. Don't approach social media to clarify doubts. So we'll end here.
Prabhu, sorry, just a quick thing, Prabhu.
Okay.
You mentioned it's someone's birthday, and also you wanted to introduce Robert Prabhu.
Yes, I did speak with Robert Prabhu. We're very grateful for Robert Prabhu.
Yes.
He's the illustrious father of Hari Vilas Prabhu, and he's from Cape Town. A wonderful Vaishnava, wonderful person. I met him in Vrindavan, and I'm very grateful for his time today. And it's also Ratna Lekha Mataji, who joined us the last time. And I don't know if she's on. Is she on today with us?
No, I don't see, Prabhu. I don't see.
Okay. So we just wanted to wish her as well a happy birthday. And thank you all of you who sent me those wonderful birthday wishes. It really meant a lot to me. I appreciate it so much. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your Sangha at the moment. Thank you for joining. I hope you learned something. And please accept my obeisances. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patinam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Sridhar Mayapur ki, Vrindavan Dham ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Prabhu,
so
thank you
much.
so much for joining us. And thank you all for being online. We look forward in you joining us in more of our classes. Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances to your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.